Hello, everyone. Welcome to Event TV series, Men in Events. I am Shanna M. Scott, your $1 million event strategist and the CEO and founder of the Event Professional School, EPS. And this is Event TV, where life is an event and you get to experience it. So we get to experience it to the fullest. And with that being said, we have an amazing guest in our series, our second guest. Mr. Jesse Cruz. Hey, Mr. Cruz, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Now, tell everyone, where are you in the world and who are you? Let everyone know who you are and your amazingness.
Yes, I'm in Rochester, New York. I am a man of faith. I'm a husband, I'm a dad, and a professional speaker. And I get the opportunity to help busy professionals increase impact and income from speaking on stages and also creating their own stages.
Awesome. Awesome, Mr. Cruz. This is absolutely amazing. So tell us a little bit more about your speaking because you just didn't, leave college, did you, or school and become a speaker. How did this part of your life actually evolve? What's the evolution?
Yeah, so I actually had no ambition to ever be a speaker.
Right?
I had the ambition to write books. That's all I wanted to do, to share my story through writing. And then after my first book came out, I said, I have a goals. I want to sell like 10 copies. That was it. And then I ended up selling thousands of copies of that book. And that led into people wanting me to speak on stage. And I was completely terrified. And then I was like, well, I should probably learn how to speak on stages if I want to help more people, and invested in some great coaching and mentorship over the years to help me with my public speaking. And, people seem to enjoy it. And then from there, people wanted to say, hey, Jesse, is there any way you could show me how to speak on stage? Is there any way I can have my message out there more? So then I was able to get into a way to start coaching people on how to go through some of my frameworks for speaking on stage. And then that led into creating events so I can bring more people together and make even more of an impact.
Awesome, awesome. And so you're a man who understands events. So share with us, I'll just ask you this question that the answer is absolutely obvious. Are events easy?
um, you know what? Maybe someday in the future, there will be
With
an
the
event
emergency of AI and robots.
that is easy. This is not for the faint of heart. It is not something I would recommend that everyone gets into. However, I do think when you have the right coaching in your life, everyone can do it. I think that it'd be wise for people to host an event and being able to build out your platform. My events have radically changed my life. It has built our entire business, and we've been able to impact lives all over the world by hosting events.
Awesome, awesome. And what the most important thing that you're saying is not just hosting an event. That's the actual mechanical and logistical side of it. But whenever you are on stage at an event, you are reaching and what I like to say, ministering to loads and loads of people. It's kind of like your, I don't want anyone to get mad at me for making it synonymous to like a pulpit. But in essence, you are ministering and you are a man of faith. So you want to share with us a little bit more about how you are actually pouring into individuals at these events and reaching so many more people?
hmm Well, I learned that it became much easier to pour into someone once your cup is full. And my cup gets full
Mhm.
from pouring into people through speaking. And once I learned how to speak, I was living within my gifts. Most people work outside of their gift, which leads to a lot of stress, frustration, and worry. Once I submitted to the gift that God has given me, I was able to pour into people more effectively. So being able to fill a room full of people who want to grow personally, develop professionally, and are looking to build meaningful connections has been a game changer in my life. It's changed my marriage, it's changed my faith, it's changed my ability to be a better parent because I'm constantly seeking out ways to be a role model to the people that I love the most or to the people in my own home. And putting my wife and children in rooms full of successful business leaders around the world has been so fulfilling for me. And so I love being able to bring like-minded people together and watch how relationships can form when you have people in the same room who want to have the same outcome, which is to make an impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love that. And one of the things you said before, which I love talking about, is the gift, working outside of your gift. And you said that speaking is your gift. Can you share what there may be some men out there right now, just like with you, when you initially went into the workspace, you were saying, hey, I want to write a book. Okay, because you were thinking this is what you were to do. But there was an evolution that happened to where you figured out or found your gift. I like to call it GGG, God given gift of speaking to people. What would you share with individuals who may feel like they're working, or who may know without a shadow of a doubt that they're working in something that may not be their gift, and it's causing them maybe some depression, some angst, and all of that, but it's making them money? It's making them money. But when they walk into their true gift, that's when they actually love life and feel expanded, like how you're feeling right now.
One of the key things is I had to learn a very tough lesson when I came home one day and I told my wife, I said, we got to talk. And she's like, what's going on? I said, well, you know how it's my dream to share my story all over the world. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I said, well, today I have to quit on my
Mm.
dream. I just can't do it no more. I'm dead broke. I don't have the time. I don't have the experience. I don't have the connections. And I just can't do this no more. And I'm sorry. And when I said that, I remember the humiliation that I felt because I've been telling my wife and my children, you always go after your dream and you never give up and you never quit on it. And I cried because of the shame that I felt that the same person who told you to go after your dream is now quitting on his. And as I sat at the table and cried, my wife got completely silent. And then she finally spoke up and she just said, Jesse, I'm not going to let you give up on this dream.
Wow.
I'm going to figure it out. And I remember when she said that to me, you know, I wiped tears literally from my eyes in that moment because I felt so much like grace and support that I didn't feel worthy or deserving of. And I didn't have the belief in myself, but she had it in me. And sometimes you just got to borrow the belief of somebody else in you until your belief catches up. And that's what I decided to do. And for that person out there who is struggling and worried and stressed and frustrated, just because you step into your gift, that still doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges, because you'll still have them. But it's better to struggle for your calling than to struggle for something you don't care about.
Mm.
I realized in that moment, it's like, if I'm going to struggle in life either way, I would much rather struggle on my calling than anything else. And I made a decision to get up from that table and say, you know what, you're right. We'll figure it out. We'll make a way and we'll make it happen.
Love that. Gosh, I'm just getting teary-eyed. That was just the sweetest thing. And also that's the importance of having the perfect God sent mate, and spouse, because sometimes you may hear the yelling, you better go to work, you better do this, you better do that. Do you have any advice to maybe some men out there that maybe feel like they're being pulled in all the different directions? Because we definitely going to make sure that they connect with you. But just what kind of motivation or advice? Because look, the bills due, the mortgages due, the kids are ready to eat. They got to get their sports gear because you stated that you have kids that are in sports, and I had kids that are in sports. Well, mine are graduated now, so I know that that's pretty pricey. What motivation could you share with those people who are in the now but know that they have that calling and that pulling?
The One of the best decisions of my life was deciding that if I want to be the best man that I can, the best husband that I can, and the best dad that I can, I must go after the best plan. And the best plan is the one that God created for me to pursue.
Go on, Jesse.
Because when I go after my calling, I show up better at home. And so a man who is not in pursuit of his dream often lives a nightmare. And often that shows up in relationships. The marriage can be more difficult to have a happy marriage if you don't have a happy man, right? Or if you don't have a happy wife. And the man usually sacrifices all of his happiness to work a job, to pay a bill, so he can survive. That's what most men just do. So most men that you will ever meet are just quite literally living in survival mode. They usually don't get to a place where they're thriving and they're content and they have peace and joy in their life because they have settled for mediocrity and being average because they haven't had the right woman or the right person in their life push them into greatness because they don't feel they're worthy or deserving of greatness. And I want to let the men know that your success is important, but so is your happiness. And most men withhold their emotions of their pain and their struggle. Your pain and struggle is valid. It's important. And once you start that healing process, you'll be able to show up more powerfully for those that you love the most.
Love that. Love that. But here, and I'm being a little bit facetious here, just bringing on some conversation. You have the gift of speaking, speaking, getting up on a stage and talking, which a lot of us in high school or school got in trouble for just talking, speaking. So, with that being said, and I'm just kind of being funny about that because speaking is extremely lucrative. And so, you share with everyone just a little bit about speaking as a business um, and how lucrative it is because I'm just going to stop and let you share.
Yeah, so the speaking industry is an over $2 billion industry with a B. So it's a very lucrative industry. And when I speak on stages, whether it's at one of our own events, somebody else's event, our business continuously expands and grows just from being able to communicate effectively. And so if you want to grow your business, one of the best ways to do that is to be a powerful presenter on stage.
Right. And if someone wanted to learn how to do that, what is it that they can do? I mean, where could they start?
Yeah, first, before you even speak, I work some of my speakers through what I call the PAY method, PAY. First, you need to know the problem that you solve. Before you know that, you're just talking. And so a lot of times people, they want to speak on stage just to say that they spoke, but
Right.
you're not just a speaker, you're a problem solver. And so identify the main problem that you want to solve. After you've identified the main problem that you want to solve, you go to the A, which is the audience that you serve. And everyone says, well, my message is for everybody. No, it's not. It's for certain people. And once you've identified the specific problem that you solve and how you can serve that audience powerfully, you get to the last part, the letter Y, which is your why. Why are you doing this? Why this message? Why are you on stage? And once you know your why, then you will know your way.
Love that. Love that. And with you, Jesse, what's your why? Share with us. You said that you were an author. Well, you are an author. You sold thousands and thousands of books. You got on stage and you're really administering to millions of people. I would say millions, because the power of the internet knows no bounds. Why are you doing all this? Why are you not like a soccer coach?
That's a great question. Why I do this is that I can remember certain times in my life going through a hard time. and the pain was so overwhelming, and I didn't know how to communicate it. I didn't know how to talk about it. And my prayer, especially for the men of the world, is that I pray that they heal from the things that they're not brave enough to talk about.
Mm.
And there's a lot of unhealed men in this world because it's not cool to talk about your pain. It is not manly, it is not tough, and it is not strong to talk about your pain as a man. And why I do this is that I need to show my wife and show my daughters what a man looks like. And that the man is okay for him to talk about his challenges and where he's maybe feeling weak. And that's okay to be a human. So why I do this is that I truly believe that every single person is worthy and deserving of being seen, being heard, and being understood through sharing their story. I do it for them.
Love it. Love it. And that's a great point because a lot of men these days are just looking outside, looking in. They want to make sure that their masculinity is always present. So they don't want to look weak, definitely don't want anyone to say that they're weak. So sometimes maybe they don't have that safe space. So, in your eyes, what could, healthy masculinity look like for a man?
Mhm. Well, there's a few things, but one of the main things is that you are so content with who you are as a man that the opinions of people is no longer relevant to you because you are fully confident in your calling more than people's opinions on what they might say, how they might judge you, what they think about you. And I think when a man can get to that place where they're living mission minded and focusing on the kingdom and focusing on what God has called them to do, and when a man gets to that place, it is a beautiful place. I believe most men never get there, unfortunately. But it takes being around men who pursue that. When you're around a man who is in pursuit of living his highest calling, what it does to the next man is it puts like this peer pressure on him, but in a good way, good peer pressure to
Right.
step into the man that they're always supposed to be. Most men are used to bad peer pressure, but you get around some men that are really great dads and really great husbands, really great men of faith, really successful in business, and you just be around them and you just be in the room with them, naturally, that is what you will gravitate towards and become. But the man has to be intentional about getting in that environment.
Awesome. Awesome. Love that. So, if there's someone out there, and there is someone out there, I know I feel it energetically, that wants to connect with you and just to find out more because they have their calling, they have their gift, but just don't know the next step. They may be thinking, you know, this job pays really good. How am I going to leave it for my calling, for my gift? How could they connect with you?
Yeah, the best way to connect with me is Jesse Cruz right on Facebook or Jesse Cruz Speaks on Instagram, and love to see how I can be a support for you.
Awesome, awesome. And you have upcoming events in the month
Yes,
of June
yes.
2025. Share with us. Share.
Mhm. Yeah, so we have a couple events coming up. Our next, my wife is hosting her Warrior Women Conference in
Oh,
state New York. That's going to be August 9th. That is a powerful event for women to be empowered. Absolutely amazing. And then, these amazing women have great men that support them, right? And so it's a beautiful experience. And then we have our Mike Story speaker competition in October, and that's in upstate New York as well. And that's a great place. That's for men and women who want to share their story on stage.
okay. How experienced do you have to be to participate in your competition?
Usually we have a range. So we've had people who've been speaking for decades, but we also had day one speakers. And
Right.
so it's really usually everywhere in between. So yeah, it's quite a range.
Okay, all right. So, in essence, anyone who is a speaker or want to be a speaker could definitely participate in the Mike Story speaker competition.
Yes.
Right, right. Okay, perfect. Well, you guys heard it from Jesse himself. Jesse, is there anything else that you'd like to add or share to everyone here?
Yeah, I would encourage you all that you're just one event away from changing your life forever. Make sure you get in that room and make a difference.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you. And everyone, please make sure that you go to the sites that are here on the link, connect with Jesse. And also, if you're a woman and you're hearing the Warrior Woman, that sounds so fun. I got to look that up to see, what's going on with his wife in that event, because that sounds amazing. Check that out as well. We have something here for everyone. So, Jesse, thank you. And we shall talk soon. Okay.
All right. Talk soon. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.